Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, as well as our other streaming channels. And tonight, got my buddy with me as usual.
Right. The
This
boy
this
is
is
back.
what we do on our usually it's Saturday, but the brother and myself thought that Sunday night would be a good night for it. Plus, we're not concerned with exhibition basketball
No,
in a COVID hotspot, which will probably be a hotspot after today, because they are
yeah.
definitely cutting up in Atlanta.
No, they can't. No, they ain't
What's
listen
up,
to.
Wayne?
They ain't listen to Miss Lance Bottoms at all.
No.
They
You know, I
partying.
thought I thought it was funny because I said to myself that she should have just been like, "No, y'all can't come." But
Yeah.
it's funny how it always talks about commerce over health, money over health. Like at the end of the day, they're generating so much money for that city.
Absolutely.
Was she really going to say no and did expect people to fall in line? The after party shall be interesting. I want to know who misses those team planes going back to their respective cities because we
And
know
listen,
Atlanta is the place to be.
and you got the 2 6s that can't play, man, because of contact tracing with a barber. So I'm be interested to see how they come out of this All-Star break with the players and everything, man.
I mean, that's interesting within itself with the players because now these two players basically saying they can't play because of the contact tracing. But the last 2 days they've been around the other all stars.
Yeah.
So it's like if one of them get it now, every all star is exposed. Like we talked about with their families.
Yeah.
And had a conversation in the show that I did with the brothers from 4G Sports. Shout out to the brothers from 4G Sports where we talked about it.
Sure.
The show is going to air on 4G Sports on their YouTube channel on Tuesday. So
Okay.
for those, stay tuned. But our business at hand.
Well, listen, and I'll just say one more thing about the exhibition down in Atlanta. I don't think the risk is good for the reward. You know what I mean? There's a lot of risks involved in this for an exhibition game. Ain't nobody caring about the slam dunk contest at halftime or nothing like that. But then we talk about the league where they play for pay.
Yeah,
It's the best
I just
league
think
going.
Dwayne it's just crazy how everything is just and this is why we talk about sports because this most of the time sports is how you can get away from all that other stuff going on with life and the craziness. But it's just amazing some of the stuff you see. I know that this is a time for you where you sit back and you reflect on a lot of things, and you actually leave social media alone. And I like to thank you for allowing yourself to still come on the show and do
Oh
what
yeah,
you do
man.
do what you do at the show.
I gotta still have some fun, but I will
But it's
tell
just
you this.
amazing. It's amazing.
I don't miss it. I don't miss
I saw
social media.
I saw a post with a guy in New Jersey, right, Dwayne? He was going off in New Jersey. And he was going off about the governors of Mississippi and Texas opening up to stopping the masses, right?
Yeah,
And I said to myself, like, what do you have to do it down there?
not
Now, I'm not saying that his opinion don't matter, but obviously these governors are going with their experts, and it's like everything is so political, everything is so polarizing. But like you said, we like to talk about where they play for pay.
okay. Right. So it's a very intriguing division, man, because you got the got the NFC South, and so you got two teams in the top 10. You got two teams at the bottom of the draft. And the exciting thing about the NFC South to me is you have a situation where Atlanta and Carolina, they're going to be big players in this 5 quarterback market. And there may be a lot of movement. And so it's fun, man. It's a fun time. We're getting close. Free agency. Teams got to hit their tags come Tuesday. And it's going to be a very interesting NFL offseason because you're going to see a lot of good veterans get cut. And some of them are going to have to take major pay cuts. And it's interesting times, man.
I'm a dub it right now. Maybe I should put a patent on it, or maybe I get in touch with the patent office. I'm a dub this coming free agency, the league where the veterans are getting paid $1 million.
Yeah, man.
Because it's going to be a lot of players. I can
Really
almost say it's going to be about 30 players taking low ball deals, and people are going to be like, why are they taking low ball deals? They got to understand is that the salary cap only went up $5 million. And what a lot of these players and teams are doing, even with the COVID, they're gearing up for the 22-23 season.
Absolutely.
The 22-23 season is going to be a major TV contract deal, upwards of almost $2 billion, where the NFL players, they wanted 49% of the pie. So they're going to get 49% of the pie. And we're going to see some very interesting things next year or two. Definitely this year with the COVID, like I said, where you're going to see 30 to 40 players. We may say losing money, but they're going to really be signing these very team-friendly, strange deals. Yeah, very strange deals. And you may see some veterans that are still productive and good and put up big numbers. You may see a lot of them get cut. So it's going to be very, very interesting going forward. And this is not the year really that you want to be a free agent in the NFL and at the top of your game, because you kind of want to take a low ball contract and then double back around in 3 years. So Wayne,
yes, sir.
We talked a couple weeks ago about Carolina clearing the deck for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and it's going to be real interesting. But it's. I mean, listen. Some people say, and we'll just get right into it. Shout out, a big credit to Falcon Wire for giving us the top 5 draft needs of the Falcons. Sometimes I read these draft needs and I don't agree with them, but hey, these is the guys that's there every day. So according to Falcon Wire, they say running back is the number 1 need, edge, corner, safety, and offensive tackle. But anywhere you look in any mocks, you see them in play for a quarterback. Matt Ryan's coming towards the end. When we did our mock, I mocked Justin Fields in this spot, the quarterback from Ohio State, who's very athletic. I think he's unfairly getting lumped with Dwayne Haskins right now because he's an Ohio State quarterback. And, some of the other Ohio State quarterbacks, Braxton Miller, some of them that just didn't translate to the NFL, the other JT Barrett, those guys, they're not your prototypical NFL quarterbacks, but I think Justin Fields is. I think he's unfairly getting lumped in there. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback. He has the arm talent. He could beat you with his legs, strong, physical kid. He could throw from the pocket. He could throw from the run. I think he, sometimes decision-making, sometimes his balls aren't the prettiest. But I think, if he lands on the right team, I think Atlanta would be a good team because he can learn from Matt Ryan.
I think that I like your pick with Justin Fields. I think you may think this is crazy when I say this. I think he's too good for them to pick right there, though. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because I think Matty Ice still got a couple good years left. Okay. And I think that when you draft Justin Fields, what's going to happen, as soon as Matt Ryan starts getting sacked, they're going to be clamoring for a more athletic player. And we see this a lot of times in the NFL. I I love Justin Fields. I think he's an athlete. I think he does break the mold. I think he's more of the other Ohio State quarterback that was drafted first last year that a lot of people don't like to talk about. Is Burrow. Burrow was
Yeah,
the
he
original
was
Ohio
on.
State guy.
This is true.
I I think that Justin Fields, you're the one that kind of put me on him early last year, and you said, "Yo, watch this kid. He's not like the rest of them. He's an athlete. He's an athlete, and he can throw it in the pocket, out the pocket." I think that one of the biggest things with quarterbacks is you want to, if you're going to draft a quarterback that is going to succeed your franchise guy, and you know your franchise guy might got 2 or 3 years left, you want your new coach to be able to draft maybe a project, because I believe by the end of the year, if Atlanta struggles, we'll see Justin Fields on the football field, and it'll make Matty Ice's exit very quickly.
Yeah.
Matty Ice will probably be on the trading block by the trade deadline, because Justin Fields has it. I mean, I believe he has it, and he could be really, really good. So I really like this pick. I thought when you first picked it during our mock, it was an interesting pick. I love his athleticism. I mean, they were even talking. I was watching one show today about Herbert from last year,
Yeah.
and they were basically saying how these organizations are not really rebuilding no more. These GMs and coaches really don't have time to have the
No.
5 year plan or the
No.
3 year plan. They basically, once you have a little foundation of your team, as a GM, you kind of got to go for it. You got to kind of throw your hat in the ring and make a jump. And I kind of agree with the method is that the GMs now are learning on the fly. They cannot have a 5 year plan. Those days are over.
Over. No, you're not even giving coaches that opportunity, man. Some of these coaches get 1 year. Like you hear people saying that the Cowboys need to replace Mike McCarthy already. Man, only have 1 year. So it's definitely a what have you done for me lately league, and lately being your last 16 games. Um,
And the
so
model and the model fell back on. It was a team that was 7-4 that got whipped by the Super Bowl champs. Last year's Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs, whipped the Buccaneers, and they were 7-4. And a lot of people was like, "Where are they going now? What? Why did they sign Brady?" And then all of a sudden, they shrunk their playbook, and their defense caught fire, and now they're Super Bowl champs, and people think they're going to repeat.
yeah, it's crazy. Some of the other names that I think you could look at for the Falcons, Jamar Chase, who I think is an outstanding wide receiver from LSU. I think he's getting knocked a little bit, which I don't agree with this. Seems like a lot of players are getting knocked for opting out. I mean, it was COVID. So the Caleb Farleys, the Jamar Chases, the Micah Parsons, I just think these guys are being knocked unfairly because they opted out. Um, I just think that Chase is a great player. Patrick Surtain has also been rumored because they do need corner help. Zach Wilson, the quarterback out of BYU. Trey Lance, the quarterback out of North Dakota State. Also, Caleb Farley has been rumored there. And you got Kyle Pitts as well, who I think may be the most special player in this draft.
What
Kyle
what
Pitts from Florida.
what is your thoughts? I know we discussed Kyle Pitts before. Dwayne, what is he?
He's both. He could play tight end. He can line up. He can also line up wide outside. I think he is the most explosive offensive player in this 2021 draft. Um, I am praying that the Eagles don't take him at 6 because I don't want to deal with this guy as a Cowboy fan. I'm hoping the Giants don't take him if he's there at 12. I don't want to see this guy. Let him go somewhere in the AFC or whatever, man. He is a matchup nightmare. And you can't really compare him to anybody, man. You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
He's a freak of
It's
nature.
funny because we've never seen a position change where a guy went from not really. We saw Tim Brown do it a lot towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
Went basically from wide receiver to flanker position, and then he started playing more towards tight end. But I was looking at some film of him, and it's like what is he? Do he remind you of Shannon Sharp? But honestly,
He could be.
yeah, Shannon Sharp didn't move like that.
Nah,
This
and this
this
guy's a
kid got
wide
some giddy
receiver.
up.
This guy's a wide receiver in the tight end's body, man. He's everything that they thought Evan Ingram was gonna be. You know, he's everything that they thought Evan Ingram was gonna be, and I don't think Evan Ingram's been that bad for the Giants. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know, Atlanta has the new head coach. You know, with Arthur Smith, and you're thinking he's gonna bring that same offense that he had in Tennessee, which means he's gonna have to get him a running back because Todd Gurley going forward, I don't think he's gonna be that guy. You know, but definitely interested to see what Atlanta does. Um, the next team in the NFC South is the Matt Rule led Carolina Panthers, and according to PFF, their draft needs is a quarterback, linebacker, tight end, corner, and edge. In the mock draft, I mocked them having Trey Lance for North Dakota State, but as we said in the last week when we did our segment, looks like they're clearing to get all in to make a run at Deshaun. So I don't know. That's dangerous because
They've had some interesting moves. One of the things I know that you like about I know you like the coach because you feel like he's a program builder. Carolina drafted all defensive players last year, something that we hope that the team that we root for does this year. And then coming into this year, we thought they would just get Teddy some pieces, and then boom, all of a sudden Watson became available. You started seeing them cutting their two linemen, Trey Boston. You start seeing them clearing the deck and clearing salary cap to make a run at Deshaun. I can understand them wanting to make a run at Deshaun, but are you going to have any players on offense to have with them? You're going to need some skilled players. You just can't think you're just going to go out there with Christian McCaffrey, who's happened to have a year where he got beat up last year, and Deshaun. So I think Carolina, like we even discussed it that day, I think clearing the deck is a very dangerous game when you are playing in the NFL. Maybe Matt Rule might have some other things up his sleeves, like you say, drafting Lance and going and getting some young players that he even recruited when he was a college coach.
Absolutely. And, like I said, I mock Lance here. And, the knock on Lance is, he played at FBS school. So he played in the same college football team as Carson Wentz. So some people are like, oh, Wentz is regressing. Should you be messing with a North Dakota State quarterback? This kid has a rifle, a cannon of an arm. Like in his last 4 years, he just didn't turn the ball over. He had 42 touchdowns to like 5 interceptions. So the kid could move with his feet. You wonder, because he did play at a level lower than Division I. He was in 1AA. So you wonder about the competition that he played against. But then you got to know a lot of 1AA players have played in the NFL and have been, Pro Bowlers and even Hall of Famers. So talent is talent. I like the Trey Lance kid a lot. Others around him, same thing like we said with the Falcons, your Pitts, your Justin Fields, Michael Parsons, Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain. It's funny because when you think about when the draft is first talked about, and it takes so long to get to the draft that you see them start to knock kids, right? And nothing has changed because they ain't play no football games.
Yeah.
So now you see that they're knocking at the corners. They're knocking Farley. They're knocking Surtain. They're saying there's not much of a big difference between 3 and 4 guys. So will the corners drop?
I mean, believe it or not, 4 months ago, me and you were talking about Micah Parsons in the top 6.
Right.
And literally he's dropped. Me and you talked about Penny Sewell not even getting past 4. And there's some places that say Penny Sewell might get to 12.
Yeah, man.
Which would be to me a draft, a GM's nightmare. If you
Tell
do
you
not
something.
have the greatest offensive line that your franchise ever had, you
Listen,
better not miss up Penny Sewell.
this is what I'm gonna say. Okay, and this is breaking news. Even though we're going with the NFC North right now, as a fan of as a fan of the team with the star on their helmet, and a man that wants them to go defense, defense, defense. There are two players in this draft that will make me get off of my defense, defense, defense. And that's Penei Sewell and that's Kyle Pitts. If either one of them is there at 10, we'll see you on the second round defense. Because those are two talents that
And
are
it's
like
it's
CD
it's funny
Lamb
it's funny
that
you
can
said that
tear
because
guys up.
it's funny you said that because we talked about a minor cowboy move that they did with one of their players, and I think that was like the preemptive strike to let them know that it's a good chance we might not get two corners in this draft. So you need to get ready to go play corner just in case, because if
Yeah,
Penny Sewell falls, they'll be in no position whatsoever to draft him, knowing that 77 might have 2-3 good years left.
yeah.
And,
70's
and
coming back.
it's
And
almost scary as Cowboy fans,
coming back.
and I don't want to go too far in it. Is
Nah,
that if Penny Sewell was to fall, I would just love to see that line with Penny Sewell and 77 together on that left side,
it's crazy.
because man,
It's crazy.
man, it'll be interesting. That's all I say.
That's all we
But
can say. But I'm interested to see how Matt Rule plays this, man. Because, like I said, he went defense, defense, defense last year. One guy that I feel bad for every year is Teddy Bridgewater, man. It just seemed that he doesn't really get an opportunity to be a franchise quarterback, man. Like, so you're looking at the injury when he was in Minnesota, and Minnesota gave up on him. Then he was with the Jets. Then he was with the Saints. Now he's with the Panthers. Now the Panthers looking to move off him. So I think
I
he's a
got the franchise for him. I finally figured out the franchise for him based off of who's been mentoring him since college. I got the franchise for him. He
who's
ends
that?
up in he ends up in Foxborough.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
He ends
I
up in
got a feeling
Foxborough.
Cam gonna be back up there in New England though. Something tells me Cam may be back up in there. So you got the Panthers, and then you got to fall all the way down to the 28th pick for the next team, and they're a team that's in flux, man. You just don't know what's going on with Drew Brees.
And
I
they
don't understand what's taking so long for him to say he's retired.
if folks that's watching the show know that the Saints cut their punter today.
Yes.
The Saints are way over the salary cap. The Saints are in salary cap hell right
Hell,
now. And by Tuesday, it's going to be about 6 or 7 more players from that Saints organization cut. Um, I don't know if a lot of people realize what the Saints have done. The Saints have literally changed their franchise from an offensive juggernaut to a defensive stalwart. Their defense is really good.
defense is very.
And it's almost a shame that they're about to lose a couple of their good defensive players because of the salary cap. But this is a business, and they
It
made a
is a
shot, and
business.
they didn't win. So the next couple of days, the Saints will be losing some defensive players that will be shocking a lot of folks in the NFL.
Absolutely. So according to PFF, their draft needs is one, the quarterback, because Drew Brees is supposed to be gone. Two corner, three wide receiver, four edge, and five at safety. And the Demo Mach 1, I had Quincy Roche, the edge rusher from the University of Miami, going here. Um, some other potential guys is the corner from Georgia, Tyson Campbell, quarterback from Alabama, Mac Jones, who could be the heir apparent there. Xavier Collins, a linebacker who I've been telling you guys all off season. I really like him. Um, who I think is the best safety, Trayvon Morig, and also Greg Rousseau from Miami, who's another guy that seems like people either love him or they hate him. I know a lot of people don't like that he opted out either. So you could see Rousseau going from anywhere from as high as a top 10 to second round. Sean Payton is definitely one of my favorite head coaches in the league. Um, Even though he doesn't really have the GM tag, there's a GM there, but he has a lot to say of what's going on. Um, like I said, we thought by now Drew Brees would have said one way or the other if he was going to stay or go. I think they should go with Jameis Winston. Um, and you know they're a playoff team with a very solid defense. They're not that far, and we'll see, man. You know more about Roche than me because you know you're a Miami fan and you had Roche and Russo and Jalen Phillips. So that's three studs edge rushers on the same team. So your
I think
thoughts
the
on them?
I think the Roche pick is interesting pick. Um, I actually think Cameron is going to be one of the guys that's going to be cut. I know it may sound crazy. I know he's the best player on the defensive line, but I think it's time. I think as an organization, you have to, and this is where I believe Sean Payton is having a hard time with. I think he wants to tell Drew, give Drew the door, but he just don't know how to do it. And Drew is so beloved down there and in that area ever since Hurricane Katrina
You
that
got to be.
if he comes out that Sean Payton basically showed him the door, the fan base may turn on Sean. I think Sean really wants to rebuild that team. Quincy, I think would be a very good player for them. The thing about these guys in Miami is they're all three edge pass rushers, but they all three played together and they played well off of each other, doing a lot of
Yeah.
stunts. So when I think about, I think Phillips is the best one right now,
Okay.
but the other two can be special given what team drafts them. I think the Saints got the big boy in the middle, so I think that could help Roche if he goes there, and Roche could play that. Just rush the quarterback. Some of these guys don't need to worry about trying to stop the run. Just get
Mm-hmm.
to the quarterback,
It's a
and
quarterback.
I think what the Saints built down there with their defense is tough. Like I said, I think Cameron is going to be the one. I
That's
know he's the
real
best
interesting.
player on their defense, and I know it sounds crazy, and I'm making
That's
this
real
prediction,
interesting, man.
but these cuts is coming, and I'm telling you, folks, by Tuesday, it's going to be a lot of people talking about that was the best player on my team. I can't believe they cut him. Yeah, they cut him. They cut
Yeah.
him, folks, because it's coming. It's going to be a lot of veterans without a job. So I think the Saints is a franchise that's very they're in a very sticky point. I don't think they I think they want to keep Jameson there, but I think Jameson needs to look at his career, and I think Jameson really should move on. If they don't give him the starting job, move on. Don't be nobody's backup right now for a long time. You did it for 1 year. I think you've learned from it. Time to move on. I think Jameson could really do something if he gets a job with a good coaching staff. Um, but like you asked me, Roche is a very interesting pick there. Let me just pay for, as we say in the business, a commercial break. I want to highlight one of the brothers that we know, me and Dwayne and myself know that
Hey, do
has
you
a
want to?
show.
You know, I know you're the producer and everything, but I want to. Do you want to get this one last team in, do the commercial, and then come back and talk about the rumors of the league?
Oh yeah, definitely, sir.
Okay. So
Thank you,
let's just
thank
get
you.
this one last team in,
Yeah,
then we'll do the commercial break, and we'll hit the rumors.
the
So
Super Bowl champs.
last team is the Super Bowl champs. You know, the Tom Brady Buccaneers. Oh, I'm sorry, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I put the wrong TB in there, right? So Bucks Wire has their draft needs as an interior defensive lineman, outside linebacker to go with those two stud linebackers they have. Offensive tackle, because we saw they got beat up a little bit, them and the Chiefs. Running back, and you got a lot, but you know they still have that as a need. And then, of course, you got to always keep your eye towards the future because Tom Brady ain't gonna play forever. So they got quarterback down here. In the mock, I had them taking a corner that I think is very underrated, and he may eventually fall into the day two. His name is Aaron Robinson out of UCF. And listen, man, corner is a deep position in this draft. And I think he's right up there with the best of them. Some other potentials, Joe Tryon, who's a defensive end. I'm going to call him Levi O from Washington. I ain't going to butcher his last name. I'll try it. Ozariki. We'll go with that. Big defensive tackle. Big. You know, he will stuff the run, and he's athletic enough to get after the quarterback. You know, that's what my boy Q and Craig love. They love those big DTs that could do multiple things. Najee Harris, who's a very good running back, that would be, if the Super Bowl champs got Najee Harris, man, that would be a problem. Cosme, the offensive tackle out of USC, and the last one is Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. So the Tampa Bay Bucks, the defending Super Bowl champs, we ran through them real quick. So now Q is going to throw us into that little commercial break featuring one of
That's
our.
that's another thing. That's another team I'm scared of because they are a team that if all it takes is Shaq Barrett to say I want to be the highest paid defensive player, and then they can't pay him, and then but the funny thing is that if they can't pay Shaq Barrett may leave and get more money, but they may be able to get three veterans for his money. Like I said, Tom Brady has an effect on guys. Guys like Tom Brady, regardless of whether you're a Tom Brady fan or not. Players love playing with Tom Brady. Players like him. I don't know what he does in the locker room. Maybe he buy all these guys lunches or whatever, but they like playing them. And, you know, we got to understand it's no state tax. It's beautiful weather, pretty decent weather down there. So a guy don't mind going down there at 31, 32 years old and playing the rest of his career out going down there to Tampa. So we're gonna come back with rumors, NFL rumors, and the Chicago Bears is one of the teams we will be talking about.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace YouTube channel. I am Say What I Feel, host of Speak Now, Hold Your Peace. Speak Now, Hold Your Peace is a live show that we do weekly that discusses real issues that affect us in our everyday lives. You can view Speak Now, Hold Your Peace live when we broadcast right here on this YouTube channel, or you can do it on our Facebook group, which is Speak Now, Hold Your Peace. We thank you so much for supporting us, and we can't wait to do our shows, and we can't wait for your feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, that's our brother. Say, what do you feel, Dre? He has a platform. It's called Speak Now, Forever Hold Your Peace on YouTube, as well as Facebook. You catch him every week. Usually he does his shows on Thursdays, but you should check him out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe his page as well. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notifications when he goes live and does his show. Last week he did a show with the actress that played in American Skin, who played the wife. I suggested everybody check the show out and really get a glimpse of what he's about and what she was explaining during the show. And one thing that we always want to do on this platform is we always want to support other people that are in this space, those who we don't know, and definitely those who we do know. So make sure you guys support the brother Dre on what he's doing. He's been doing this podcasting thing a little bit longer than me, gave me a lot of advice along the way, and check his platform out. And trust me, I always try to tell people, and me and Dwayne always talk about this, is a particular podcast may not be for everybody, but we have something for somebody. So make sure you guys check out the Brother Dre show.
And we got to support each other. As you can see, I'm wearing this shirt tonight, Nidella. It's a company started by my cousin, Marita Daniels. It's support, empower, and lead fearlessly. You can check out at Nadella.com. It's apparel. You can get shirts. You can get T-shirts. She got masks on there. And just trying to uplift people in the community. And that's what we all got to be about, right? We got to be, you know, I saw Quentin did a show earlier. The K Corner was back. And I watched a little bit of it. And the subject matter made me a little bit sad because we shouldn't be hating on each other. We should be trying to love each other and support each other. So that's what we're trying to do. Shout out to Dre. You know, we know what he's doing. And shout out to everybody that's on this Let's Talk platform. And, you know, the YouTube is a wonderful thing, man. If you want to get away from oh, Fox only talking to conservatives and CNN doing the craziness that they do because CNN starting to do some crazy stuff. Y'all need to pay attention. They start to do some crazy stuff, man. And Chris Cuomo on here singing the Good Times theme song with Don Lemon and talking about, I'm black on the inside. No, I don't know. I know your brother doing what he doing, but we won't talk about that. But let's just support one another, A lot of stuff out here, like I said, let's talk. Got something for everybody. Every show ain't for everybody. There's a show that's out there that's there for you. And Dre doing this thing, man. So we proud of him too.
So Dwayne.
So got rumors, man. Mr. Sierra, Russell Wilson, looking to get out of Seattle. All of a sudden, he can't stand Pete Carroll, and he don't like that Pete Carroll got both of his sons on the coaching staff. And
I once said to you when you kept saying Future's daddy, when you were doing the shows, when we were doing our week, we would talk about this man, and they were letting Russ cook for about 9 games, and then the NFL defenses figured him out, as DK Metcalf said. I said when he first started this, I said Russell Wilson was out of his damn mind. And I want to be the only show that says it, because a lot of shows are scared to say it. A lot of the letter networks are saying it. This is only about Sierra. And it's no disrespect. I mean, you want to, at the end of the day, as a player, as a person, as anybody, your household is more important than anything. And his wife has a career. Her career is going to last longer than his career. Yes, this is what people don't understand. She basically stopped her career to have a family, kids with him, but now he's at the end of his career, towards the tail end of his career. It's her prime now. The entertainment industry, a lot of people don't know, is hurting right now because of COVID. So now it's time to get back to work. A lot of their money, a lot of the entertainers' money is getting low, unless you're like Jay-Z and got a whole bunch of other investments. But a lot of these entertainers are struggling. So we believe it's about Sierra. Me and you talked about it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people feel like if they...
Let me say this. It's not bad to say that.
Exactly.
That's not...
It's not disrespectful.
Not disrespectful. It's about Sierra now. She done gave this man 2 kids. And he got Future, so they got 3 kids together. She been up there in Seattle, and she's kind of, done some things. She was doing, she did another little challenge the other day. She looked good doing that challenge too. So Sierra ready. She want to get back out there, man. And the world needs a little bit of Miss Sierra out there. You know?
And it's people that's way less talented than the young lady that's making money, and she's very talented. I always say to myself, not to deflect from a football show, but I always wish that she would just, her and Chris Brown would be like the perfect dance battle. I would just love to watch them dance battle. A lot of people don't know it. I think it'd just be interesting.
So speaking of Russ, my brother, where you think he's gonna wind up? You think he's going back to Seattle? You think he's going to New Orleans? Dallas, Chicago, Las Vegas?
I think first of all, I think John Schneider trades him.
I think he gets traded as well.
I think that it's going to be very interesting Tuesday. And the reason why is because it's not that me and you are Dallas Cowboy fans. It's not that the Dallas Cowboys want Russell Wilson. It's not that. It's that as long as you could use their name for leverage and possibilities, you can always use them in negotiations. And what I mean by that is the tricky part about the negotiation with Dak Prescott is how do the Cowboys, if the Cowboys and Dak Prescott say, okay, we need more time, but we're going to tag you. Now, if they tag him, if they franchise him, it'll just be a franchise tag. They could work. They got until July to deal with him. And it's just that, to a long-term deal. And then after July, he's under the franchise. That'll be worst-case scenario for a Cowboy fan, because the compensation, if they lose him, would be a third-round pick next year. Then the other one is the exclusive rights tag. And the reason why I bring this up is the exclusive rights tag is another team could sign Dak Prescott to the money that he wants, to that $40 million, and the Cowboys have an option to match it or
Well,
to
no.
say,
Ooh. Exclusive means nobody could offer him. If they
okay,
put the
so
exclusive tag on them,
it's the
it's just them.
it's the transition tag then, or it's
Right.
the tag where the two first rounders come and play.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the scary part, and I know it sounds far fetched, and this is why I say it affects the Russell Wilson thing. Because say if Chicago says, okay, we're going to wild out and we're going to sign Dak Prescott to $45 million. He's going to be the second highest paid quarterback in the league because Chicago is one of them teams that we think is desperate for a signal caller. Now, the Dallas Cowboys get back-to-back first-round picks for Dak Prescott if they don't match the contract from Chicago.
Yeah, but
Now,
it's going to be interesting. If they put the transition tag on them, then that could play out. But if they put that exclusive tag on them, it doesn't. And I'll tell you, man, if you're asking me where I think the best landing spot is for Russell Wilson all around, I think it's the Las Vegas Raiders. I think it puts his wife in a great position in Las Vegas. She can get.
She could do three. She could do 3-4 nights a week there, showcasing her talent.
Yes. I think the Raiders is the best landing spot for him.
I mean, and then it's tricky because we saw what a GM. Me and you both respect Mike Mayock, and as a GM, we saw him come out. And one of the biggest things is that as a GM, and even as a coach, is you never want to be perceived as a liar.
Right.
And we saw him come out and say that they're behind Carr. But then when you have a quarterback of Russell's magnitude on the table, do you jump on the option? Because like we always say is that what the GM business is about in any sport is about relationships.
Yeah, and
the minute you come out as a liar, you're in trouble.
You got to watch these GMs with their double talk. I mean, look at Joe Douglas in New York. He was like, no, we believe in Sam Darnold. We want to build around Sam Darnold. And then what did he say this week? The phone lines is open for Sam Darnold. We will listen. We will take calls. I think the New York Jets is the most interesting team this off season. Whatever they decide to do is going to have major ripple effects throughout this league, right? They are in a prime position right now. That number 2 pick, the value of that number 2 pick is so great right now.
It's going up. It's going up as we speak.
So great right now. So do they keep the number 2 pick and draft Zach Wilson? Then they got a commodity and Sam Darnold. That teams will come for Sam Darnold. The Washington football team will come for Sam Darnold.
I'm going to ask you a question.
The 49ers will come for Sam Darnold. You know,
I'm going to ask you a question, Dwayne. And this is something I thought about, and this is kind of scary. If Seattle trades him, they're stuck with a cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
If Watson gets traded, they're stuck with a cap hit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think going forward? Do you think going forward that the NFL, these teams is going to, when they sit down with each other, they sit down with the commission and they talk about salary cap, that they're going to try to figure out a way where these teams, once these quarterbacks, because these quarterbacks is, I think they're going a little too far personally, and I know a lot of people say, well, why you say that? It's about them. They're trying to negotiate and get all the money. Go ahead, Wayne.
I'm sorry. Here's what I think about the quarterback position. I don't think it should count against the cap. I think it's the one position that shouldn't count against the cap. Because these quarterbacks, now people say Dak Prescott don't deserve the money he's going to get. Why not? Are you going to say the same thing when Josh Allen comes up? when Lamar Jackson comes up, when Baker Mayfield comes up, quarterback blows up salary caps. And when you got a quarterback that's taking up 25% of your roster, they got to do something with that. Either they got to make it that it doesn't count against the cap, or they got to come and bring the Larry Bird exemption to the NFL. Where you could just
Because I'm
go
gonna ask you,
over-
Dwayne, if you were Jamal Adams right now, how would you feel? He got traded. He got traded there to compete. They never signed him to a long-term deal, and
Yeah.
now the franchise quarterback may get traded. Now he should be. We all know that these players worry about getting paid first.
Yeah.
But now the franchise quarterback
He's
that
going to
he
run out.
came, he's got to one out of Seattle, because at the end of the day, Seattle's going to be handicapped with this cap hit. And this is where I think these teams are going to go to the NFL like, listen, all these quarterbacks went out. We don't need the problem. And we're not saying they're a problem in the locker room. I'm just using problem as a word, as the best word I could use right now. We don't need to be stuck with cap hits.
Well,
cap hits should not be based off of players wanting out. It should be based off of players getting cut or failing physical, whatever. It's crazy.
What you're saying right now makes so much sense, right? So we're going to use the Philadelphia Eagles as an example, all right? They're taking the biggest cap hit in the history of the NFL, $33.8 million in dead money for Carson Wentz, just to get rid of him, all right? So now they have Jalen Hurts, who they spent the second-round draft pick on last year, right? You're seeing rumors where they're saying that the Eagles will trade out of 6, try to come up to the Jets at 2 for a quarterback, whichever quarterback they want, right? But they can't give up that draft capital. They need to stay at 6 or move down because they're in salary cap hell.
Well, they're gonna have the guy working at the local bar playing quarterback or receiver.
They're about to trade Zach Ertz because they have to. And they're saying that trade may get done tomorrow or the day after. Like, they can't trade up to 2 and get a quarterback. Because let's say they trade up to 2, and let's say they take Zach Wilson. Let's say they like Zach Wilson. Who you putting around them? You're in cap hell.
The Eagles literally for lack of a word, are in trouble. This is for the chat, and we are Cowboy fans, but we're football fans first. The Eagles literally are in trouble as a franchise for the next 3 years. Like, it's no way they can get out of what's about to happen. Like, they can't even luck up. They can't even say if they drafted Pitts, they drafted a couple other guys, and they knock out the park in the draft. It's literally no way the Eagles could get out of what's about to happen. They're in salary cap hell, and they don't have the capital to move around.
One thing about
because of Carson Wentz not being on their roster.
One thing about this Dak Prescott negotiation, and we should all be tired of it. We should all be tired. It leads every show, for the past 3 weeks. You hear more about the Cowboys than you hear about the Super Bowl champions. But if the Cowboys and Dak Prescott comes to agreement on that rumored 3-year deal, it may change the way quarterback contracts are done going forward. Because let's look at it. You had Wentz, you had Goff. Both their teams re-signed them for long-term deals. And they're both gone now. Gone.
Dwayne, I remember when Garofalo got their money, Colin Kaepernick got their money, and most of these guys were saying, these contracts had what they call the poison pill.
Right.
Where it gives the team an option. I think that you're right. That the Wentz deal and the Deshaun deal, not so much Russell's deal. These deals, when you think you drafted the guy, and there's nothing wrong with the kids, there's nothing wrong with these players. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these players. Some of these organizations like Houston have messed it up. However, when you look at these other organizations, me and you both, we respect the Rams, we respect Seattle, we respect
Absolutely.
Phil, we respect Howie, what he's done in Philly. He's won a chip. But at the end of the day, like, yo, how do you pay your quarterback? Just look at it like this. Can you imagine, Dwayne, if he just rolled over one morning and said he wanted out of Kansas City? He signed a 10-year deal. If he said he wanted out of Kansas City right now and he refused to play for them, they would be literally a franchise, because they're so old and made so much money, a franchise hit for 3 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know we're almost in the hour. But I can't let this show end without getting your feelings and your thoughts on JJ Watt landing in Arizona.
Two things. As one of our favorite players used to say, must be the money that's turning them on. Money, money, money.
Yeah.
Tax-free state. So his $15 million in Arizona is $15 million in Arizona. Same as Texas where he was at.
Yeah.
We always got to look at that. The man is not going to go nowhere and get heavily taxed. Do they have a chance to win? I think they have a very interesting franchise. I think that him being on that defensive line with Chandler Jones, possibly, because we got to understand that once Tuesday roll around, it's going to be some crazy cut. So I really respect the Bidwells. Anybody that's been watching football a long time and knows a lot about these organizations, Bill Bidwell, the former father owner of the Cardinals, was tight with his money. And to see his son spend money is good for the sport. I believe that Arizona is a good place to play. I believe that Kingsbury and his offense is under the gun next year. I believe that he's on. They gotta get some wins. I mean, we ain't talking about the first 7-8 games of the year wins. We talking about they got to get some quality wins and probably sneaking in playoffs. They need it. They need it as a fan base. I thought Watt surprised everybody. I think it was definitely
Definitely
I think it was a smart move on his part, because you figure he signed a 2-year deal. I think if he doesn't fan out and win a chip there, he'll have time left. Watt is one of those guys that could play as long as he want to play, like them Dominic and Sue, that they're so good and they're so, regardless of what we say about them, they're locker room guys that guys don't mind having around. But I think it's going to be, Dwayne, we've been talking about it for 2 weeks. I do not think that people realize what is about to happen. It is literally, the NFL is about to be crazy come Tuesday. You're going to see some sign-ins and cuts that's going to rock your world.
NFL is king. They take over the airwaves. You know, you got all these other sports. They can't be happy with the NFL. But, you know, it is what it is, man. JJ Watt, I think it's a money grab. Hey, but perfect weather out there. You know, Buda Baker, Chandler Jones, JJ Watt. I don't like that they gave up Patrick Peterson. You know, especially you give JJ Watt all this money and you ain't want to give Patrick Peterson what he wanted. I have a problem with that. I'm also a guy that has a problem when an organization retires a number. Number 99 is retired by the Cardinals, but they reached out to the family of the gentleman, and they said they have no problem with JJ Watt wearing it. I don't agree with that. If a number is retired, it's retired. Pick another number, JJ Watt. And I know that's just a uniform, so whatever. But interesting times, man. The quarterback carousel. There's going to be like 15 teams that got different quarterbacks at the start of next year from, you know, the end of last year. So,
and Dwayne is a little bit lower than Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter said 19 to 20.
Yeah,
Dwayne is a little bit lower. No. I tell you, it makes you think and it makes you wonder what's going on in the NFL. But I'm telling you, folks, I hate to keep harping on it. It's going to be some crazy stuff come Tuesday. It's going to be a lot of wow moments. It's going to be like, I can't believe my team cut him. He still got some left. I mean, I even heard
So
something about Chicago about if Chicago does try to get Russell or a quarterback, that they may have to give up Hicks.
yeah,
That's a
look,
lot to give up on your line, man. I mean, but you
crazy.
gotta make a run at it. I do think that Russell Wilson will get traded. I think that one of the things Dwayne going forward is once
Excuse me.
one of the quarterbacks go, him or Watson, it's going to be all in play. I really believe. I think that Dallas is going to re-sign Dak. I think it's going to be any day now. I think it's actually, Jerry being Jerry, letting it play out a little bit, letting them, letting them stay for a little bit.
So
Excuse me.
as we're getting to the end of this segment, NFC South. Do we see the teams in the top 10, both teams? Do we see them both getting their quarterbacks of the future?
I don't know. I could see it. I could see Carolina going to get Watson.
Yeah, well, that's
I
their
could see
quarterback
it.
of the future.
Yeah, I could
In
see
the
it.
draft.
Yeah, I could see Atlanta saying they sick and tired of this stuff and we got to get defense. I mean, it's a weird thing because Atlanta, even when you go back to the history of when they got Julio Jones in the race to draft him, they just have not been able to succeed defensively. They drafted a lot of players, the Tack McKinleys, a lot of guys, the Grady Jarrett's, a lot of guys. Even our coach drafted a lot of players. I mean, he was the coach there, and he's a defensive guru,
Yeah.
but he could not do nothing on that side of the ball. So it's just a interesting thing with these organizations. Some of these organizations have identities that they can't get rid of. I wanted to ask you before we close out, how do you feel about the Big Ben renegotiation?
If I was the Steelers, I would have moved on from Big Ben. I just would have moved on from him. I still think $14 million a year is too much, and I think you got to start rebuilding at some point, man. I think Big Ben's time has come and passed, and he was a great Steelers quarterback. We'd probably say he's the second best Steelers quarterback all time behind Terry Bradshaw, and I think it's time to prepare to move on from him.
I just hope I know one thing. They might lose Bud Dupree. Just listen, as they say, it's the dark days in the NFL for some of these teams, man. It's coming up.
I love Dak Prescott. I love Wayne Dakota Prescott with all my heart. But the Cowboys got to determine, is it smart business for them to sign him to a lucrative offer? Are they going to be able to build around him? With the way that this cap is situated. I think right now, man, the way to go with a lot of these teams is going to be through the draft because you can control these players, but you don't want to be a Chicago Bear either. Chicago Bears been chasing after a quarterback since Jim McMahon, and he wasn't even that great of a quarterback. He just played quarterback for the team with the best defense of all time and a running back that was special. So the Bears need to figure that quarterback situation out. The quarterback's the most important position, man, and it's just going to be interesting. But in this, hey, man, we've done 4 divisions already, folks.
I'm gonna ask you a question, boy. What did they say? They said, yeah, we'll give y'all Russell. Give us your first round pick in Khalil Mack.
Ooh. That's interesting. I don't know. As we know, we'll let somebody in on some insight. I threw a trade proposal to my man Q this week for our Dallas Cowboys, and I was surprised that it piqued his interest.
Yeah.
And we'll save that because So next week we move on to the AFC North, which is a very interesting division. Hey man, we're 4 down, man. Look, we got through that. We got through the
Four down, and 4 to go.
4 down, 4 to go, and then draft day is April 29th. We're gonna have
52 days away, folks.
We're gonna have our big draft show. Before that goes, we'll you know what we're gonna do with our draft show, right? The way we're gonna do our draft show, we don't need a mock 2.0. Because when we do our draft preview, that's gonna be our mock 2.0. We may do it like we did last year, maybe, where we had a bunch of guys come on and make the picks. Or it may just be me and Q, man, because we've been on it. So me and him may just flip back and forth, and this is who we want, this is who we're going to pick. I mean, last year was fun. Hopefully we can get those same guys back to make the picks again.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, everybody want to be a YouTube rock star now, but we support everybody, you know. My man over here, the producer and the damn... He leads the circus, this Quentin Ford, man, and he's been doing a hell of a job. We coming up on a year of quarantine, folks. March 13th was when it happened. Friday the 13th is when everything shut down. And during that time, this platform has exploded. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. We got some good stuff coming for you too, man. Hey, this draft stuff, hey, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, subscribe, share, support everything that this platform is doing. It's something there for everybody. Support Dre, you know, support those gentlemen that's doing the dream scouting and all that stuff, man. Let's just
we're gonna have the brothers on Dream again, hopefully soon.
support.
I'm gonna reach out to them and ask them, do they want to be part of the draft show? But that's some fun. But the thing about the draft show, like Dwayne said, is that it's easy to do a draft show when it seems like it's easy. But to consider everything, because every day the NFL is in flux, so you kind of gotta like be on it. Because you know, for those that don't know, I'm a big Sam Darnold fan, and at every given moment, this guy could be traded. This guy could be traded. So I gotta watch who gets Sam Darnold at all times, because that will change your draft board.
Like, subscribe, and share, because we better than Skip Bayless. And that man just got a $32 million deal, man. I want some of that money. So like, subscribe, and share, man. We better than Skip Bayless.
With that, we're gonna leave out. We're gonna promo a show we're doing on Thursday.
Yes.
With
Peace
that,
and love. Hey, everybody, stay diligent. If you get the vaccine, still wear your mask. Stay diligent. If we love each other and we protect each other, we can come up out of this thing. And don't worry about what they're doing in Washington, because sometimes what they're doing there ain't in our best interest. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for your family, your neighbors. Wear a mask. Wash your damn hands. Stop picking your nose. And just be there for everybody, man. Love on everybody.